Gamers aren't really the most normal type of person. Sometimes we do get a little bit spicy with it. Sometimes we go a little bit far. For example, some gamers spend 40 minutes in a Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom shrine because they can't seem to figure out that you have the ascend button, which just makes you go up. How do I get up this massive mountain? You just use the ascend button. That gamer was me. I'm an idiot. But sometimes they aren't just dumb. Sometimes they go a little bit wacky with it. Like,
yes, do us part.
Like this man who married a Nintendo DS.
The gaming industry is home to some of the most iconic characters in modern media, and gamers can form a pretty close connection with the heroes in their favorite games. This relationship is generally harmless, but back in 2009,
that looks so cozy.
A romantic gamer decided to take things to the next level by falling in love with a video game character and marrying her.
Well, listen, that's totally normal. You know, there's some AIs out there these days that are just there to make you fall in love with them, and then they get shut down later on, so it's like a loved one dying. AI is going a little bit too far. I think we're heading into a very strange place that may be bad for us. I don't find myself falling in love with any AI. I'm not gonna do that. I did used to have a crush on Liara from Mass Effect when I was in middle school, though. It's not exactly a new thing.
This is a Japanese exclusive dating simulator created by Konami that allows players to go on dates with digital women on their Nintendo DS. When a gamer who goes by Sal9000 first started playing the game in 2009, he immediately fell in love with a character called Nene Enegasaki.
It was love at first sight. I mean, what can you say? It's the tried and true romance. It's exactly what you're doing. It's your Romeo and your Juliet. I don't understand what's wrong with this, you know?
Style lasts with a love for horror movies and raccoons. Sal has described Nene as his dream woman, noting how the game changes her personality to his liking as he whispers sweet nothings into her ear through the DS's microphone.
Okay, that's too far. You're whispering into your DS microphone? Then maybe we need to take a step back and we have to think about how it got us to this point. How has our life proceeded to the point where we are whispering our secrets, our emotions, our deepest, darkest feelings from the bottom depths of our hearts into a DS microphone?
Luckily for Sal, it isn't hard to sweep a DS off its feet, and before long, his relationship with Nene became more serious, prompting him to get down on one knee and marry the character. Or, in more practical terms, marry the DS and the game cartridge inside it, I guess? Tradition.
Here's a question. Can an AI consent? I don't know. I saw on Twitter that a guy said AI girlfriends of the future because they listen to whatever we have to say and never judge us, unlike real women. I hate it when women judge people for, like, you know, doing murder and other horrible things. God, those freaking women, right?
The father of the bride pays for the wedding, but in this case, Sal had to do it himself. Coughing up the cash to buy a tux, hire a DJ, and create a slideshow that showed the highlights of their relationship.
Wait, no, that's actually a good... Wait, that was good art, though. Hold on. Wait, is this guy, like, an artist? Did I miss that part of it? Because that was actually, like, it's actually pretty good art. Like, that's kind of cute, right?
A slideshow that showed the highlights of their relationship. When the wedding was over, Sal kissed the screen before taking Nene back to their marital home and, well, I don't want to know what they got up to on their honeymoon.
How do you fornicate a DS? Does that work? I mean, you need to fornicate the marriage, consummate the marriage somehow. So, I mean, how do you do that? On the screen? Or maybe some things are just better left not answered.
Unfortunately, the wedding wasn't legally binding, but Sal doesn't care, stating that the ceremony was simply a celebration of his love for the character and a promise to love her till death do them part. Hey.
What, so, like, 2 hours when the DS runs out of battery?
Even if Nene does die, she can just respawn. Geriatric gamer.
Okay, I mean, that's not...
Like a long time ago.
It's not very nice.
Back at 2016, it feels like we were all living in a completely different world.
True.
Trump was yet to begin his presidency. I still had a full head of hair. And
that's unfortunate.
And it was taken over with the urge to catch them all, as 260 million people downloaded Pokemon Go onto their phones. Pokemon Go is currently the third most played mobile game of all time.
Third? Okay, I have to wonder, like, what's the top two? Is it still Candy Crush? Do people still play Candy Crush? Is it still like Clash Royale or Clash of Clans? Is that still, like, pretty popular? I know there's, like, an Indian version of PUBG that's on mobile that's super popular. Also, Call of Duty Mobile apparently is incredibly popular as well. It's
However,
insane.
You'd be hard-pressed to find someone who loves it more than Chen San-yuan. This 74-year-old uses a custom bike to play the game on 72 phones at once.
That's dedication, man.
Since 2016, when his grandson introduced him to Pokemon Go, Chen has been obsessed with catching the rarest pocket monsters in the game, using countless devices to maximize his chances.
I can't imagine how annoying it would be to sign into all of those phones. Imagine you have to have them all going at the same time. Can you sign into the same account on multiple phones? I assume not. He had to make 72 different accounts on Pokemon Go. I would rather scoop out my own eyeballs with a rusty spoon.
He spends his free time cycling around New Taipei City, Taiwan, catching as many Pokemon as possible. And you can imagine all Chen's phones use a lot of electricity, and unfortunately he can't use the Pikachus he catches to charge them up. As a result, his bike is fitted with a heavy-duty power pack that keeps them charged, letting him stay out on the streets all day.
How does he not get mugged? I would assume that there are some ne'er-do-wells, some people with nefarious plans in their head, just cycling around with 72 phones? I feel like you would get stuck up at some point, right?
He estimates that he spends $1,000 a month on the hobby, using the cash topped up with internet data and purchase in-app Pokeballs and power-ups.
Okay, well that's quite a lot. Some might say too much, but he just seems like a nice elderly old man. If he's enjoying it, there's worse things to spend $1,000 a month on. Some people spend $1,000 a month on gambling. I would say Pokemon Go is a more healthy alternative. Gets you out on the bike, you know?
Chen used to play Pokemon Go every day, but tragically he suffered from a stroke in 2022, forcing him to take a 6-month break from the game. Luckily though, Chen recovered and started playing again.
Yes!
Unfortunately, he's had to strip back his contraption as he can only handle 25 phones at once.
You can only handle 25 phones at once? Damn. I get that. That's such a crazy sentence. I can only handle 25 of the same exact game running at the one time. Oh, only 25, really?
Still 25 times more impressive than the average player, though, and I think it's fair to say when it comes to playing Pokemon Go, Chen is the very best, like no one ever was.
That was a good attempt. You know what? I'm not going to make fun of you for that one.
If you turn up the volume while playing Call of Duty, you'll generally hear nothing but gunfire, explosions, and a platoon of 12-year-olds insulting your mom.
And saying slurs. Don't forget about that. They still do that on Call of Duty. Still super duper into saying slurs.
However, in 2021, this all changed when the game became associated with another sound, the recorder.
What? Oh my god, he's actually playing... He's playing the game with a recorder? How do you shoot? What? Oh my god! Whoa, that was so cool!
Conditions in elementary school.
I'm impressed.
Yeesh. But in 2021, a Twitch streamer called Dino Bino went viral for using a recorder to play Call of Duty Warzone. In Dino's hands, the recorder's shrill notes became the sounds of death and destruction, as he rained down hellfire one toot at a time.
That is so impressive. What?
Go! The viral
What? Did he just 360 no-scoped someone with a recorder? I've seen some impressive things in gaming before, but that has to be top 5. That was incredible.
Dino isn't the only gamer who likes playing games in unconventional ways.
Miss Mika
is a streamer who's known for taking on
fantastic streamer
challenges, like playing through entire games with one hand or playing famously difficult games using guitar chords to generate a controller input, a little like Dino's recorder. Mika's unusual playthroughs are undoubtedly impressive, and in 2022, she took on her hardest challenge yet, attempting to complete 2 playthroughs of Elden Ring simultaneously using a regular controller and a dance pad. Elden Ring is a notoriously difficult game, and its open world is full of powerful bosses that can take newcomers countless attempts to defeat. For most of us, completing Elden Ring with a gamepad is an achievement, so to many, Mika's challenge seemed like an impossible task. That didn't deter the streamer though, and in December 2022, she started the challenge, connecting her dance pad to her PC and mapping each arrow to a different keyboard command, allowing her to move and attack by shifting her feet.
This is one of the most impressive things that I've ever seen. I've never played a Souls-like before. I already know why I don't play them. It's because I'm not good enough to stop myself from getting frustrated. Now, I don't want to play a game just to get mad and mad and mad all over again. I want to play a game to relax and have fun. That's why I play Pokemon, obviously. That's super fun and relaxing all the time. But this is absolutely incredible. Probably the best gamer on Twitch, right? So when it comes to Souls-like games, playing it on a dance pad and a controller at the exact same time, fighting the same bosses at the exact same time, and being able to control it with your feet is ridiculous.
And it was a matter of progressing through the game, walking both characters to the appropriate boss arenas once sufficiently leveled up, and taking on all the bosses simultaneously. Mika spent just 1 month dancing her way to victory as she took out all of Elden Ring's bosses with her hands and feet simultaneously.
She's doing something that would take me months to do by myself just on a controller, and she's doing it twice at the same time, using feet and hands, splitting attention between 2 different games. I don't know. Humans are just like incredible. Look at that. Dude, I can't imagine how excited you would be at this. I'm just so impressed.
The challenge required a lot of trial and error and bouts of impromptu Irish dancing, but it wasn't long before she defeated the game's final boss in both playthroughs and completed one of the most impressive Elden Ring challenges to date.
That's insane.
Blocks.
You know, I'm glad this Gamers That Went Too Far video is not about gamers like shooting people so far.
When it comes to classic video games, there are few more iconic or universally loved than Tetris. The game was first released on the Electronica 60 computer in 1984.
What the hell is that?
Then, it's been downloaded and played on almost every electronic device imaginable.
You can play Tetris on fridges.
The most ported game of all time, and outside of consoles and PCs, its iconic blocks and soundtrack have appeared on iPods, calculators, and most incredibly, a 21-story building in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
What? A building?
Oh, that is working.
Oh my god. What? How would you... How do you get permission for this? Isn't that people's houses? You'd be like, imagine just waking up one day and your house is flashing red and you just go look outside and some motherfucker's playing Tetris with your house. Do they own this building? I can't imagine what...
MIT, the college that's home to some of
MIT.
the world's most intelligent students.
That makes sense.
Consequently, some of its most intelligent hackers. The giant game of Tetris appeared on the tallest building on campus in 2012, and the game was wirelessly connected to a nearby joystick that allowed pedestrians to take control of the 295-foot arcade machine. As you can imagine, the project...
This is what they do at MIT. I've always been led to believe that the MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, was all about like making synths. Because that's what Fallout told me. It was all about making androids and stuff like that, and making robots that will eventually take over humanity, basically creating the Matrix, or making robot dogs that you could put guns on so that you don't have to risk your humans while you go and kill poor unarmed people. But apparently they're just playing Tetris. Honestly, I'd rather they just play Tetris. I think this is better.
And incredibly, MIT students first proposed the idea of building a giant Tetris on campus way back in 1993. At the time, they didn't have the technology to make it work, but 2 decades later, an anonymous cohort of students decided to pick up the abandoned project and attempt to solve it themselves. Equipped with newfound technology and coding techniques,
it sounds easy.
Were able to fill 153 of the building's windows with LED lights, which they programmed to connect to the joystick and run the game. This might sound simple, but the students reportedly spent 4 long years working on the extracurricular project, including a 2-month period of working every night from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Working those long hours while earning your degree is pretty intense. However, when the game was displayed in 2012, all their hard work paid off, as students flooded to the building to play on the oversized arcade machine. The project worked perfectly, and other gamers have since drawn inspiration from the hackers at MIT, using similar techniques to create other giant versions of Tetris. The videos of people playing these games are incredible to watch, although something tells me that the people who work inside those buildings weren't quite as impressed with the hack.
No, I'd be pissed. You'd be getting like epileptic fits. Guys, I don't know why they spent all this time doing it. You guys know you can just Google play Tetris and then you can just like play Tetris. I don't know if they knew that. They probably didn't know that. So anyway, that's why I'm smarter than anyone that studies at MIT. Because you can just like play it online just like this. It's super easy. And then you just, there you go. See, and then you got Tetris. Yeah, I mean, MIT, if you want to hire me as your like smart guy to be a smart person, just let me know. I'm free like tomorrow afternoon.
In it for the long game.
Is he dead?
Sometimes there's nothing better than lying on your couch for hours on end and binging your favorite games until your thumbs ache and your eyes sting. However, it is
my eyes always
to take
sting.
Binge gaming too far, and some gamers put their health at risk as they game for days at a time without taking any breaks. Just like the people involved in one story, which occurred in 2015 and involved every soccer mom's favorite mobile game, Candy Crush. That year,
okay,
in LA.
That's the one game that I would never be able to binge. I don't understand how you could sit there for hours. I mean, you play it for one little game while you're waiting for the bus for 2 minutes and then you put it away. There's nothing that good about it. The gameplay isn't that addictive that you need to sit there for hours and hours and hours. Right? I can't imagine why you play that so much.
29-year-old man who was complaining of thumb pain after playing on his phone. The patient explained that he'd been playing Candy Crush all day, every day, for around 8 weeks, using his left hand to swipe on candy while he used his right hand for drinking and eating. Over the 8-week binge, the man had crushed plenty of candy and his own thumb, as the doctors determined that he'd ruptured a tendon while playing the game. The injury was significant enough to force him to swap his digital jelly beans for painkillers, as he had to undergo surgery to reconstruct his tendon, allowing him to regain the use of his thumb, and hopefully use it to delete the app. But crazy as that story sounds, he's not the—
That's the point where you know you've gone too far in a video game. If you rupture tendons because you're playing it too much, that is your coming to God moment, where you sit and you look in the mirror and say, what are you doing with yourself? And hopefully play a different game like Oblivion. Oblivion is awesome. Play Oblivion.
Only person who's taken the digital long game to the extreme. Back in 2011, a man called Jordan Wayne Long embarked on one of the most intense gaming sessions ever, after spending 7 days straight playing The Lord of the Rings online while locked in a small box being transported across America. Now, this sounds completely insane, but there is some method to the madness. When Jordan isn't gaming, he's a performance artist, and for him, this bizarre gaming adventure was art. Jordan.
Oh, so he's basically a streamer. In 2011, he was like the first person to be a streamer, except he didn't actually stream it. He just played the game. But that's essentially what streamers do nowadays. Also, how could you possibly have an internet connection in 2011 in the entire country? How's that gonna? That must have cost $7 gorillion for the data.
Traveled from Bald Knob, Arkansas to Portland, Oregon, inside this tiny space.
Oh, I don't like that.
Sessions are usually fueled by pizza. All Jordan consumed on his 2,000-mile journey was 28 protein bars and 4 gallons of water. If that wasn't extreme enough, when Jordan's body had processed all that water, he
was gonna piss
by peeing into a jar that he sat next to for the rest of the trip. After 7 days of driving, the box was delivered to the 1430 Gallery in Portland, where Jordan was released from the crate as part of an exhibition. But Jordan didn't just do this for kicks. He stated that he created the performance to raise awareness about PTSD. Specifically mirroring how people suffering from PTSD can lock themselves away and hide from reality by playing video games. Communicating with the outside world in an online space. Which is certainly a good cause.
That's good.
He still wonders if Jordan secretly just wanted to make the most of an in-game XP boost week in uninterrupted privacy.
He spent a week in there? That is insane. I mean, I have to hand it to him. That is some crazy endurance. I would never be able to do that. I'll probably die of a blood clot or something like that. And he's right. He's doing it for a good cause, raise awareness of PTSD, which I don't think is talked about enough, especially like the people go to war and then come back and then the army is like, okay, bye. See you later, bye. And then you're like, oh, but wait, no, I have horrible nightmares now. And they're like, oh, damn. Well, see you later. Goodbye. Oh, see you later. So that's a good cause at the very least. Big thumbs up for that.
I don't know about you, but no matter how many new games I buy, I always end up playing the same old titles over and over again. Playing through the last
I'm the opposite.
For the 17th time is one thing, but some gamers form even closer bonds with their favorite games than the rest of us.
No, I don't understand that. I mean, I've played through a game a lot, but only if it's a game that has a different story every time you go into it, like a Total War game. It's basically a sandbox, and you can go in and you can do anything that you want, and every time you play, it's different. Or something like Minecraft. I've never actually played Minecraft myself, but I can understand why people would play Minecraft over and over and over again, because you do something different every time. I can't understand playing a story-based game with the exact same story beats, like upwards of 10 times. And I know it's ironic that I say this as a person that plays Pokemon, but every time you play Pokemon, it's different because your teams are different, the runs go differently, so with the randomizer, things are different. I can't play the same thing over and over again. Even my favorite game of all time, BioShock, I haven't played that game in years and years because I already know what's going to happen. I don't need to go back and play. I already know what the experience is going to be like.
Nobody's taken this further than Nurul Majabin Hassan, a 20-year-old from Florida who claims to have fallen deeply in love with the game Tetris. That's right.
Okay.
Not the character, the actual game itself.
Come on,
describes
man.
herself as objectum sexual, meaning that she's attracted to inanimate objects instead of people. In the past, she's had crushes on treadmills, and her first serious relationship was with a calculator that she called Pierre. Hassan has spoken about her former lover with misty eyes, explaining that she loved touching Pierre's trackpad and she'd frequently use her tongue to press his buttons. She even took him to prom. Tragically, with all this attention, Pierre broke before his time, short-circuiting while being cleaned one day, cutting their relationship short. Nurul didn't stay single for long, though, quickly rebounding and falling in love with her Tetris NES cartridge in 2016. Nurul has described her relationship with Tetris as intimate, explaining that their dates involve her playing the game for hours before cuddling the cartridge in bed. She's even stated that she plans on marrying the cartridge in a proper wedding ceremony and becoming Mrs. Tetris. Obviously, Nurul's wedding wouldn't be legally binding, however, she still wants to express her love for Tetris in a symbolic ceremony. To be fair, that L block does look great in a tux, and the rush you get from clearing a line in Tetris isn't the worst foundation for a healthy marriage.
That's beautiful. I wish nothing but the best for them. And I wish them a long, happy, healthy relationship. That's great.
With its sandy beaches and millionaire mansions, Palm Beach in Florida is a pretty laid-back place. However, in 2015, a police dispatcher at Palm Beach Sheriff's Office was found to be a little bit too relaxed on the job after he was caught playing games on his phone instead of responding to emergencies. In October,
Oh my god. Imagine you're in the middle of like getting stabbed and you call 911. You say, 911, hello, I am being stabbed right now. And the guy on the other end's like, okay, yeah, we'll get someone over to you. Just gotta finish this game on Candy Crush. You can just stay on the line, give me like 5 minutes. Someone's invading my clan right now, so just gotta take care of them real quick and I'll be right with you.
October 2015, dispatcher Charles M. Morris kept a 911 caller on hold for 40 minutes while finishing up a mobile game.
40 minutes? I mean, you're just dead. At that point, you're just dead. 40 minutes? That's enough time to kidnap someone. That's enough time to shoot someone. That's enough time to bury someone. That's enough time to pour gas around the house and light it up. That's enough time to bury the evidence. That's enough time to burn down the entire neighborhood. 40 minutes?
The caller had been involved in a hit-and-run accident, but instead of receiving a police response, they received the cold shoulder as Charles kicked up his feet and kept tapping away.
Oh, it's a hit and run? Oh, they don't care about that. Oh, that's whatever. They don't care about that. What are they gonna do? They're gonna come and be like, oh yeah, Dad, your car is really fucked up. Sorry about that.
An investigation uncovered the fact that the same month he waited almost 10 minutes to dispatch officers to the scene of a shooting as he was
oh my god
at a screen to respond. Charles had worked
Come
for
on,
the
man.
sheriff's office for 11 years, and unbelievably, he was.
This is your most attentive Florida police officer, by the way. This is the employee of the month, just so we all know.
And fired for the misconduct. Instead, the police department chose to demote him to a job with fewer responsibilities.
Oh, yeah, sorry. They demoted him because he was too good. He responded too quick, and they're like, listen, we have a reputation to upkeep here. You have to stop responding so quickly. You need to play Candy Crush for twice as long, so we're going to demote you.
Continue protecting and serving the public. Or more accurately, continue protecting his settlement in Clash of Clans, while the taxpayers of Palm Beach pay his salary.
They didn't even fire him. He waited 40 minutes to dispatch officers to a hit and run, and he didn't even get fired. They waited 10 minutes to dispatch officers to a fucking shooting, and they kept his ass hired. They didn't fire him. They demoted him, but they didn't fire him. Wow. That's awesome.
Aside from that one guy's thumb we heard about earlier, the only things that gamers usually break are high scores and keyboards. But back in 2015, a 28-year-old
That's not true.
man from Russia.
I've never broken a keyboard, but I've also never broken a high score in my life. I've also never broken a controller. I don't understand how you get so mad that you break controllers regularly. The only time I've ever been that mad is when I was fighting a Monetric when I was about 12, maybe 10 years old, playing Pokemon Ruby at my grandma's place, and I got so mad because this Monetric paralyzed me, and I think I got paralyzed about 8 turns in a row, and I got so mad that I threw my DS on the ground. I guess it was a Game Boy. I threw my Game Boy in the ground, and I stamped on it, and then I picked it back up again, and it was fine because I was like 10 years old, so I was too weak to actually do any genuine damage.
I managed to break up his marriage, alienate his friends, and lose his job after playing Fallout 4 for 3 weeks straight.
Oh, he was actually playing Fallout.
Was released in November 2015.
No, that's based.
The man became so addicted to the post-apocalyptic RPG that he stopped showing up for work and started ignoring his friends and his family. After 3
No,
weeks
they don't
of
understand.
Death claws, collecting bottle caps, and barely sleeping, the gamer finally left the digital wasteland, only to discover that his own life had exploded and the fallout was nuclear. By the time his binge was over, he'd been fired from work, his wife had left, and his friends had cut ties with him. All due to his gaming.
I mean, they don't get it. Don't you understand? When Fallout 4 came out, you could create your own cities. You could build your own cities. It was such a big map. There's so many side quests that you can do. Listen, these Bethesda games are serious business. I want you all to understand, when Starfield comes out, I'm going to be this guy. I'm not going to interact with a single person for 3 weeks when Starfield comes out. This is normal. I think it's the family that's unreasonable in this situation.
Binge. The man was crushed, but instead of deleting Fallout or begging his wife for forgiveness, he decided to go a different route, suing Fallout's developers because the man claimed that Bethesda had caused him emotional distress, arguing that if he knew Fallout was so addictive, he never would have bought it. The man asked
Oh my
Bethesda
God,
for
that's
around
awesome.
$7,000 in damages, and
$7,000.
promised to take
Your entire relationship, your job, and your marriage is worth $7,000 in his eyes.
the case as far as they could. A group of legal experts at the time commented that the case would probably be thrown out of court. Unfortunately, it isn't clear whether the man ended up winning or losing the case, as there are no public updates.
Really? Do we think it's unclear? Do we genuinely think that it's not clear if he won or lost this case? That he's suing Bethesda because their game was so addictive that his marriage fell apart, he got fired from his job, and his entire friend group decided to go completely incommunicado with him. Do we not know if he won this? It's a real mystery. I wonder what the judge would have come to the conclusion on.
But either way, I doubt he managed to get his wife her job back, even with an extra $7,000 in the bank. Oh well, at least dog meat will never leave him.
It just works, man. You have to understand. Oh, headbutting a
If you spend
monster?
any time gaming online, you'll know that certain gamers are always only one loss away from throwing their controller at a wall. When you're playing at home,
never
these
done that
fits of
before.
rage are pretty embarrassing, but generally harmless. It's only your own property you're damaging after all. However, in China, computer gaming in internet cafes is popular and commonly sees gamers using PCs and keyboards that they don't actually own. Back in 2017, a gamer from Lanzhou was halfway through a session in a cafe when he lost a game.
He's playing League?
Legends
It's always League.
due to his team's incompetence.
Of course. Listen, if you're playing League and you're losing because of your team, if you're not the rank that you think that you should be, well, it's because your team is holding you back. If you're playing any kind of ranked game online, whether it be Overwatch, Dota, League of Legends, I can't believe that you have such a bad team. It's really a shame because you deserve to be a higher rank, but your team suck.
Instead of taking a break, the gamer decided to get his head in the game, literally, by grabbing the screen and headbutting it until his head passed through it.
That's the most stable League of Legends player. Have you seen Tyler 1? This is normal.
The gamer completely destroyed the monitor, but it didn't go out without a fight, and after the cafe workers freed the man's head from the screen, they had to send him to the hospital for his injuries. The man's temper tantrum means that he probably won't be welcome in that gaming cafe again. But
Imagine losing a fight against a monitor.
best. He should either stop playing League of Legends altogether or start gaming with a helmet on.
Just get the helmet on, it's alright.
Toxic relationship. Back in
Uh-oh.
June 2019, a 29-year-old gamer called Sak Duan Wan came back to his family home in Sisaket, Thailand after a late night of drinking. Sak was heavily addicted to mobile games, so instead of sneaking in and going to bed, he cranked up the volume on his phone and started to play some games, creating enough
Why
noise
crank
to
up
wake
the
his
volume?
parents. As
Why?
his stepfather
What?
came to investigate the commotion, an argument ensued that culminated in Sak's parents turning off the Wi-Fi. Given that Sak's choice of game was Wi-Fi dependent, needless to say, this didn't go across well. And
This guy's 29 years old? He's 3 years older than me? And he's getting mad because his mummy's turning off the Wi-Fi?
so the gamer started freaking out, smacking at the walls of the house until he tired himself out and went to bed. The following morning, it looked like the argument was over as the family settled in for breakfast and Sak's mother headed into the garden to fetch water out of their well. However, as Sak's mother reached the well, she noticed a strange powder floating in the water. After a moment's consideration and
Oh,
some investigation,
no.
it dawned on her that Sak had snuck into the garden earlier that morning and filled the family's well with poisonous pesticides in an attempt to get revenge on his parents for turning off the Wi-Fi. Shockingly, Sak eventually confessed to this. Horrified, Sak's parents called the police, and their son was swiftly taken in by the authorities. Now, I've heard of toxic...
Why would you poison your... Why poison the well? What if other people use the well? See, this is why you shouldn't have kids. You don't have a kid. Guess what? You don't get woken up in the night. Don't have to turn off the Wi-Fi. Don't have to worry about getting poisoned. There you go. Child-free life, baby.
But after attempting to poison his own parents, Sak might just take the cake. It's a miracle that his mother spotted the poison in time and kept her son's KD ratio at 0.
Okay. That's a crazy way to put
collection.
that. Oh my god.
Remember Pokemon Go obsessed Chen San Yuan, who we met earlier? Well, he isn't the only gamer with a borderline insane passion for collecting. Meet Brett Martin, a 42-year-old
Hey, Brett, what's going
from
on?
Littleton, Colorado, who's officially the largest collector of video game memorabilia in the world.
Is it all Nintendo?
8,000 and
This all looks like Nintendo. Wait, there's some Mega Man there. We got a Kirby corner. Of course, we have some, I think there's some Pokemon around here. Lots of Mario. Tons of Mario just everywhere. This is mostly Nintendo.
30 collectibles that he stores in his so-called memorabilia museum, a small room in his house
Damn.
that's absolutely packed with rare items. The room is an explosion of color. However, Brett's collection had humble beginnings, starting when his parents
This guy is single-handedly funding Nintendo for this fiscal year.
gave him a small Super Mario figurine in 1989. That first hit was enough to turn Brett into a full-blown collectible addict, giving the gamer a lifelong passion for purchasing memorabilia for iconic games like Mario,
all Mario.
Zelda, and Pokemon. As
Dude,
you can
it's like
imagine,
all Mario.
amassing a collection this large is pretty expensive. However, he does limit the amount that he spends on the hobby. Brett has said that
Does he?
plans to keep
What? He limits the amount that he spends? Are you an investment banker? Are you Elon Musk?
His budget to under $500 an item, but he's willing to pay up to $800 for a collectible that's particularly rare.
So he doesn't keep it under 500. Also, that doesn't matter if you're buying 7 gorillion items. You're like, no, guys, it's only $5 a spin. Oh, how many times did you spin the roulette wheel? I spun it 10,000 times, but it's only $5 a spin, guys.
Brett's
Come on.
entire collection is currently worth over $100,000. And in 2012,
is anyone gonna buy it for that?
He devoted to his passion paid off when he was officially given his Guinness World Record. Brett
Wow.
earned a spot in the 2013
Impressive.
Guinness World Records Gamers Edition.
Listen, the Gamers Edition, not even the normal one. Oh no. Yeah, you could tell that everything really paid off when he got into the Guinness Book of World Records, which, to be fair, this is 2013, where the Guinness Book of World Records actually matters. But after that, I don't think anyone actually cares about the Guinness Book of World Records. I have about 6, 7, 8 variations of the Guinness Book of World Records somewhere in my house from when I was probably like 10 years old. I've never seen one since 2013. I think did they stop making them? Do they even make this thing anymore?
And he was rewarded with a new priceless item to add to his collection. A plaque that officially crowns him as the greatest gaming memorabilia collector of all time.
Yeah, until some Saudi prince just drops like 0.0001% of their net worth on some gaming items, and then immediately that award goes out the window. It's gone, buddy.
His love of the gaming industry and its iconic characters has gone too far, but compared to some of the other crazy gamers we've seen today, I think it's fair to say Brett's case is a little more wholesome than most.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. He likes it. He's spending some money on the stuff that he likes, and I think that that's completely okay. And something I think that is also completely okay is subscribing to this YouTube channel. And if you have a video that you want me to watch, let me know in the Discord server. Thanks.